Welcome to Realtors Unfiltered, where we pull back the curtain on the world of real estate. No fluff, no filters, just real stories, real advice, and the realities of buying, selling, and everything in between. This is your host, Enas Latif. Whether you're a client looking for your dream home or an agent seeking inspiration and insight, you've come to the right place. Let's get started. Welcome back to another episode of Realtors Unfiltered, the podcast where we dive deep into the mindset, strategies, and unfiltered stories behind the people shaping the real estate world and beyond. Today's guest, someone who isn't just talking about financial empowerment, she's leading the charge. Nicholle Overkamp is the founder of Wilcox Financial Group and PowHERhouse Money Coaching. She's powerhouse speaker, best-selling author of Money Bitch, and the champion for women taking charge over their financial future. Nicholle is not just building businesses, she's building movements. Through her work, she's helping women shift their mindset, build smart financial habits, and align their behavior with long-term financial success. Nicholle, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Enas. I am very excited to have this chat with you.
Me too. It's overdue. Nicholle, with your background is so diverse. You're a wife, coach, author. What's a lesser known part of your journey that shaped who you are today?
Well, we are just going out of the gate hot. Okay. What is a lesser known part? I think the reality is it's a compilation of many little things that have happened along the way throughout my life that I have just stacked on time and time again that have made me who I am today. Every failure, everything that I messed up, did wrong, wish I would have done differently, ultimately is something that today I'm grateful for because they taught me the lessons and the resilience that I've needed to get through everything that built what I have now. And so there's nothing... and I have a very public life. I share everything. So I think
Yes,
most people know all the things. But beyond that, there's not one event. It's many little events that happened and really stacked to allow me to become who I am and I think who I want to become ultimately in the future.
Mm-hmm. So looking back at it, when do you think it all started for you?
As started for me in what way?
In realizing that this is how you're building who you are and who you want to be.
Mm-hmm. I think it started when there were a few different life events. The first was when I started in the business. I was working as an assistant for another financial advisor. Mm-hmm. And at the time I thought I wanted to go to UB. I was enrolled in the MSW JD program so I could be eventually a family attorney.
Wow, I did not know that about you.
Yes, I was I did criminal justice in undergrad and I was all about it. I really wanted to be the person who I thought my family needed growing up. And then I realized I can't sit still. I was falling asleep in courtrooms. Like, it was just brutal. I hated reading, like all the stuff that you need to be a lawyer. And I just didn't have the money. And the advisor I was working for at the time, he's like, what do you want to do? So I want to help people, obviously. Like, I want to make a difference. And he's like, you can do that in this career without all the student loans. And I said, okay, cool, let's do it. And it was like not even a 24-hour decision. It was like a 2-hour decision. I rescinded my letter from UB, screw it, became a financial advisor, got licensed, and I actually did my MBA instead, because at that time, if you didn't have a master's, like, who are you in this world,
Right.
So that was the first is I'm like, okay, I have something I can sink my teeth into. It was hard, very challenging. And within those first few years, I mean, it was grueling. You were expected to be at the office 8 to 8 because I was a young woman. I was there from 6 a.m. until 10 p.m., every single day. And the thing about that is I'm competitive. And
we couldn't tell.
Right, I know. So by the time I was in my third year, I was one of the top 10 financial advisors in the firm. And I started to ask questions, and they didn't like that. I started to learn more about the industry and who I wanted to serve and who I wanted to help, and they didn't like that either. And so there was a lot.
What did they not like about it?
They didn't like that I didn't fit the mold. They didn't like that I wanted to do full comprehensive planning versus selling a product. I started to care less about the sales goal and the thing and more about the impact, the transformation. You know, I had a night where I didn't sleep, and I didn't like that. It was out of alignment. It was out of integrity. And the more I learned about the industry and what I could actually do by talking to other advisors outside of that firm, the more I was like, what am I doing with my life? You know, it was like this huge wake up call, you know, and a couple conversations that I had. And so, and there was a lot going on there at that same time. You know, it was kind of that wolf on Wall Street mentality. And so I made the decision to leave. And it was a very quick, sudden decision, and
very Nicholle,
very immature at the time. You know, I was just like, I hate this place. I'm never coming back. And there's more to it than that. But basically, that's kind of what happened. You know, if you there's a pattern in my life where I just kind of like jump and figure it out. I never have a big plan, and good thing because I overanalyze everything. And so I think that's part of the magic in it is like I can't give myself more than 30 seconds, or I won't make a decision at all. Right. So I did that, and so in moving on and starting my own firm, I realized that we had to do something different and better and provide planning, not a product, provide results, a solution, to listen, you know, and just starting to do things differently. And it took a while for me to believe in myself, to have the courage to know that I am worthy of success. And, you know, when you're gaslit for so many years and you're told you're less than, it takes a lot of self-help, you know, books and learning to get there. And so ultimately I was like, I want to be that person that guides other women to know they're worth the effort and they can build wealth and they have someone to trust. And I want women to know that they're capable of more than what they give themselves credit for. So what can I build to get that? Because I don't want someone to feel like me.
What made you focus on women or feel that you need to service women in that way?
I think it was many little conversations, myself included, feeling like we don't have a space. We don't have someone to listen to us. We don't have someone to look us in the eye and ask us what we think and feel before they look at our husband, or to take us seriously and to really build a space where we can show up and be vulnerable and have conversations around money where it's not taboo. Like, you know, at the time, and this is going back to 2012 when I started the firm, it was still not okay to walk into a room and say, how much money do you make? And have conversations about negotiating and wanting more and walking into a room and saying like, I want to be bloody rich one day. Like, you know, that was not okay. And now it's more acceptable, but still for women, it's awkward, you know, and
it's harder.
And it is harder, of course, you know. So I wanted to kind of equalize it and say why, you know, it shouldn't be. This is, it is too much of a big thing to continue to just talk about stats and not move the needle. Enough is enough, you know, and so that's, I hate talking about things and not doing things. So, you know, we built on that.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that you shifted your focus to service community, which is women in this case, that's underserved in that area especially, and allow them to be heard. And also, you know, to your point, one size doesn't fit all. So selling a product doesn't make sense to everyone that's maybe in your client book. Everyone is going to need something different depending on their goals, their lifestyle, their needs at that time, and so forth. So I love that about you. Yeah. Many people know this, but you know, your husband was faced with a sudden accident that you often talk about. How did that impact you, your leadership style and priorities within your life and business?
It was a huge impact in terms of, it forced me to just start doing stuff. And I started to take action on all the things that I kind of in the back of my head knew I wanted to do, but was scared to do it. I just started doing it because at that moment I knew if not when, or not, back it up. If not now, when, right? And who else is going to do the thing? There was nobody else to support myself, my family. the employees that I had. And so it was taking bold action, believing in my heart, and digging in and doing as much as I possibly could while supporting him.
Yeah. So maybe it gave you the edge to do all the hard things
100%.
and not overthink it.
That's right. Yeah. You know, it's when you're faced with that, and when you, like, your life flashes in front of you, fear and hard stuff like just isn't hard anymore. You just do it.
Yeah.
You just do it because the alternative seems insignificant. And why did I care before of the what ifs in that? So you're forced into action, and then you get laser focused. And so for me, it was it ended up being a gift.
Nicholle, you often say, and I actually learned that from you myself, that you don't believe in work-life balance, but rather integration and harmony. How does that philosophy help into entrepreneurs like realtors who often juggle, crazy schedules?
Mm-hmm. I do think balance is BS. The whole word stresses me out, right? And I think society has coined this phrase where you have to have balance, which means equal parts of things. Mm-hmm. And when you are an entrepreneur, especially a realtor, right, you've got stuff going on all the time, all hours of the day, and you have to be ready when it matters. And so for me, it's integrating in a way that feels aligned into what the priority is in that day or in that moment. And so, and it's accepting it as well, and setting the tone for your friends, your family. And for me, I can go in, and if I'm excited about something in a project and I want to work on it, I'll go nonstop. I'll work a whole week of 18-hour days, and I won't feel burnt out or exhausted because it's the thing I want to do. There's zero balance there. It is all work. My house is a mess. My husband hates me. I don't care. It's the thing, right?
Yeah.
But then there's plenty of times where I take Fridays off, or I decide to check out for a little bit and then check back in, or I'll take a vacation, but I'm still choosing an hour a day where I'm going to check in and know that everything is okay at the business and with clients, nothing's on fire, and that helps me relax. It's how do you want to integrate your life and your business so that it feels aligned, where you are making progress and it's working for you. Who cares what everybody else says and what works for them? It needs to work for you, and there's never balance if you're going to actually crush it in a specific area. You have to go all in, and you have to be laser focused. And so I think we just need to get that whole balance, or I want more time to relax. No, if you want to do a really good thing, go all in, and then you decide and be an adult when you need to step back and take a break.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, especially when you're not in a 9-to-5 work or job. If you're in an industry or an entrepreneur owning your own business, anything like that, it just doesn't stop, to your point. But you got to learn how to take these breaks to recharge.
That's right.
I call it my recharge time.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And that's productive too.
How do you deal with, to your point, maybe my husband will hate me that week, right? How do you deal with maybe the relationship part of that, the toll it might take on other people in your life, whether it's family, friends, because sometimes even friends don't understand. You're always working. Oh, you can't come out with us, or you can't do this with us. And you always say no. How do you deal with that?
Well, I got new friends. No, I'm just kidding.
Not easy in this world.
No, it's not easy. And you know what? Most of my friends are business owners. Okay. Mm-hmm. So they get it. We sing the same song. And so that in itself is really helpful, because we push each other to work hard and to take breaks. And then with my husband, I have an upfront contract. If I've got a crazy week, I will tell him upfront, love, this week is going to suck. Don't expect me to be available. Don't expect me to be present. And what I need from you is some help. Here's where I need help. And he supports that, because what I'll also do is make sure that no matter what, one time during that week, we've got a date night where I don't have my phone, where we are doing something just us. We take trips together. In really the time that I'm with him, I try to be present. And that time is more valuable, right? When we're actually together and paying attention, and it's intentional, versus just being together, but we're not actually present.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's not the quantity of the time, it's the quality of the time.
Yeah.
And my husband and I are very similar that way. He'll tell me up front, this week is going to be terrible, or just so you know, today I'm going to be late. I'm very busy. I might not even check in kind of situation. And I'm totally fine with it, and vice versa. But when we do make time for each other, we make it count for sure.
Yeah, I love that. And one of my favorite quotes is people will rise to the expectations that you set, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like as long as we set that expectation with our friends, our family, our clients, they're okay with it. And, in return, I ask for the same thing.
Right.
Just what should I expect? And I'll be okay with that.
Yeah. And I reciprocate it, right? With it's a friend or husband or whatever. But a lot of moms have mom guilt with that. And I raised 2 kids myself, being a realtor. There were some challenging moments, some moments also where I did feel that guilt, or maybe my kids didn't understand, and then that made the situation worse. But for the most part, I was able to somehow make it work, and they turned out perfect. But what advice would you give moms who feel that mom guilt?
Well, coming from someone who's not a mom, I just say figure it out. I'm just kidding.
It's kind of brutal.
No, what I would say is, to me, there is nothing cooler than being a mom, showing your kid how to live your dream, right? How to hustle it out, how to have success, how to manage multiple things, how it's okay to mess up, how it's okay to be stressed out. Life is not perfect. There's a lot of adversity. And to show your kid that you're chasing your dream and doing the thing you love, is there anything better? Because you're giving them permission to go do the same thing, right?
Lead by example.
That's exactly right. And so for moms feeling guilty, I'd convert that and say, feel inspired, right? You're teaching and you're showing them how to do hard things, and you can't learn that in school. And so I think it's a really special gift to give your kids. And moms are mean. They have opinions, and don't listen to them. Do what's best for you and your family, and everybody else, they can do their thing. But if somebody is telling you what you should do, my first response is always you should not listen if it doesn't serve you.
Yeah. To your point, I did have someone make a comment to my kids once when they were younger. Do you hate it when your mom has to keep going to work every night or something like that? And I looked at that person. I was like, are you kidding me right now? My kids are totally fine.
Yeah.
Because to your point, I communicated with them. And at the same time, I made sure when I carved out time for them, it mattered. I wasn't on my phone gossiping with someone else about somebody else, type of situation. It mattered when I was with them. It was quality time, and they looked forward to it. So we had a good relationship that way. And then she came and made that comment, and, I can't believe it sometimes.
She is so lucky I was not there. Mama Bear would have come out. But yeah, people just don't get it, right? And everyone has their own experiences. And I am the first, I think moms are the most badass. I admire you guys for all that you do. It is the coolest thing. But I think we sometimes just put too much pressure on ourselves because what we think what we should do based on society and who's making those rules. The only person making the rules is you. And your kids, to your point, are perfect. They're contributing to society. They're super successful. They're disciplined. And I wonder why, Enas.
Well, thank you. They turned out okay. Sometimes I wonder how. But so with that said, let's talk a little bit about what advice would you give women in general who are looking to, maybe accomplish the things that they want to accomplish, dream of, be who they want it to be, and are held back by society, by family obligations, potentially by a little bit of that guilt that we talked about. What advice would you give them today?
Do it. Literally do it. And I think we don't give ourselves enough credit for how smart and capable we are, despite the circumstances. And I like to do this practice of 3 to 5 whys. So if you say, oh, I can't, I'm too busy. Okay, why? Answer. why again, and dig deeper, because a lot of the time you can actually call yourself out, and it gives you permission to move forward and stop making excuses, because there's always a way to figure it out. Sometimes you just need to ask for help and find the right resources.
Mm-hmm. Ask for help is a good one. A lot of us don't like to ask for help. I don't know why. I was one of those people.
Because we're hyper independent and we're strong and we need to do it all. But asking for help is a superpower.
Yeah, agreed. Your book, Money Bitch, which I love the name, by the way, is bold, right? What's the most surprising reaction you've received from readers?
It was fun to read. You pick up a money book and you're like, this is going to be boring, and why would I want to read it? And people are really excited after they're done, because it's a bunch of different stories. So you can relate to it. You can see yourself in it, which was the purpose. We want people to read it and take action on something significant.
Yeah, so learn from the stories.
That's right.
I love that, because talking about money could be very boring at the same time. How can realtors, entrepreneurs, or anyone who's independent contractor leverage the mindset of coaching to better advise clients or manage their own business and their own financial goals?
I think the most important thing to realize is that when you hire a coach, you pay for speed. So yes, you can probably figure it out on your own, but it might take a lot longer and be more painful and frankly more expensive, right? So you are paying for someone to help you get to your goal quicker, to call you out on your shit, right? Hold you accountable, but then also give you those shortcuts, because a big thing that I coach on and teach others is literally experience shares, things that I have done in the past and learned from and saw and overcame. And so you take decades of experience and shorten it up, and then you give them the way. And then it's easy to see things that you aren't seeing when it's not you. So I think leveraging that person to help you be what you're capable of becoming quicker, because they see it before you do, and holding you to that higher standard is so valuable.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Even coaches need coaches too, right?
That's right.
So I experience the same when I'm coaching my agents on my team, and that's exactly what I tell them. I'm just giving you the shortcuts, so you're not making the same mistakes and having to figure it out as I had to, but yeah, exactly the same. It's so funny. But I personally still need coaching, right?
That's right.
I need to know how to run the business, how to coach better, how to do many things that I could use my coach for.
That's right. And I always have a coach too. And, it's a growth mindset. It's honing in on your craft. There's always a way to get better. And that's a huge part of it, and I think that's the cool thing when you're doing it. You're never going to know everything, right? So hire somebody who knows something that you don't, and then grow from that, right? And keep getting better.
Yeah, there's always opportunities to learn. When you stop learning, you start sinking, in my opinion.
100%.
Yeah. The most important thing I feel that a lot of people overlook when they're making sales and making money, or running a business and it's making money, is not realizing that maybe they need to diversify their income from different sources. Maybe they also, not maybe actually, it's very important that they think about their future. And do they have retirement funds? A 9-to-5 job offers you a lot of benefits and things like that an entrepreneur may not have, or a salesperson like myself, or independent real estate agent, may not have. What's your advice to that type of person, and where should they start? What should they look at?
It's really important to understand the risk that you have on the table. So that's twofold. It is on the personal side, and what if you can't make money anymore? What do you have to fall back on, whether it's savings or insurance, something else? And then with your business, what if one part of your business doesn't do well because of an economic indicator or something changing? What other income sources in that business do you have to pull from? So it's like creating that economic moat. And so I always like to say, about 3 different streams are really important. So whether that is your company and you have 3 different types of services you offer to different demographics or target markets, or if you're a realtor, again, 3 different services, and or perhaps you own real estate, you sell real estate, and maybe maybe you do property management, something to that effect. And so that way it allows you to steady income, diversify risk, but then stack on cross sales. So you're really able to become a little bit more resilient depending on what happens. And then on the other side, on the personal side, you have to pay yourself first.
Right.
And what I mean by that is it's easy to, number one, forget to set aside money for taxes. Got to do that. But you get these big slugs of cash and you feel like you're super rich and you spend it all and then you're like, I'm poor again. And this is probably more so for realtors, but entrepreneurs sometimes too, just depending on the cycle. So you really want to understand how much you need to set aside for the lulls in business, for reserves, who you may need to hire, business growth, and then of course your retirement. You have to create your own benefits. So what does that look like for future you? And really starting to do it in percentages versus fixed dollars, because your income's variable. So it allows you to do it in a really sustainable way. And even if it's a small amount, even on some months, it's the habit that matters most, because you begin to build that snowball and you will be shocked as to how quickly it grows, but also how grateful you are when life doesn't go as planned.
Mm-hmm. So what are some of those investments that people should start building for retirement?
Mm-hmm. So, and to be clear, because I'm licensed, this is not advice, but just some general things to think about are if you're looking to save on taxes, you might want to consider a pre-tax retirement account like a 401k, solo 401k, SEP IRA, can reduce your taxable income, gross tax deferred, really nice little tools to utilize that for future you. There's also Roth accounts, which grow tax-free, come out tax-free most of the time. And then real estate is another really good thing if the math works. It's always a math problem, and we see a lot of people think it's sexy because they saw something cool on TV and they have no idea what they're getting into. So it's really important to pay attention to that cash on cash return. But it can be great passive income if you do have some rental properties as well. So, but you have to have capacity for that. So I think know thyself, number one. It's not for everybody, but second to that, what is the next best thing that you can do based on your own specific circumstances? And then again, asking the questions, right? There's so much out there, and general financial advice isn't for anyone. You have to make sure it's a good fit for you and your goals, what you need, what your family needs.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I love about working with you is you look at the full picture, and you're not only looking at, where can I sell you a product that you can consider an investment, and this is it. You look at the full picture. You incorporate real estate investments in there too. For someone, which if it's a good fit, it's a great one as well. Nicholle, I want to thank you so much for being with us today. Your insights on resilience, financial clarity, and mindset are incredibly powerful, just like you. And I know our listeners, especially the realtors and entrepreneurs out there, are walking away with a lot to think about. So before we go, where can people connect with you, learn more about coaching, or grab your book, or bring you in as a speaker, which we didn't even get a chance to talk about that, but you are a speaker as well, public speaker. So can you tell us where people can find you on all the different platforms?
Yes, of course. I'm very easy to find. I'm on all of the platforms. So LinkedIn, Nicholle Overkamp. Our Instagram handle is PowHERhouse Money. My personal is Money Bitch Energy. That one's easy too.
Love that.
So feel free to DM me, engage. Our website's powerhousemoney.com. Wilcox Financial Group is the financial planning company. You can buy the book on either website or Amazon. So, it's really whatever is best for you. And I'd love to hear from you guys.
Yeah. Thank you so much again for being here with us today. And thank you everyone for listening. If you enjoyed this conversation, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. Until next time, stay real, stay driven, and of course, stay unfiltered. Thanks for listening to Realtors Unfiltered, where real estate meets reality. If you're ready to buy, sell, or explore joining our team, visit us at enaslatifsalesteam.com. Until next time, keep it real.